There has been a lot of talk the last few days on what is going to happen with the immigration situation. Starmer has been out in Italy, checking out how they as a country have reduced the numbers by 60%. On Monday, it was announced by Starmer that he had employed a new border chief, and already it seems that appointment has turned against his thought process and issued a shocking reveal. In today's video, we will discuss this whilst also going over all of the latest news from up and down the country. But first, hit the like and subscribe button and join our fast-growing community. Britain needs to do more than just crack down on smuggling gangs to combat the small boats crisis, Keir Starmer's new border chief has warned. Martin Hewitt, who was named in the role on Monday, is understood to have pushed for a deterrent as part of an official strategy for curbing illegal migration to the UK, which is a massive contradiction on what the Prime Minister has said. While it's unclear what kind of deterrent Hewitt may want, his calls follow internal National Crime Agency memos from 2023, in which officials concluded stopping the boats would be impossible without one. The NCA had added that no amount of money nor effort against human traffickers would be enough to stop the crossings entirely. Despite the NCA memos, the Prime Minister scrapped the Rwanda deterrent on his first day on the job and has said he is absolutely convinced that his smash the gangs strategy is the way forward. On Monday, Starmer claimed that cracking down on the gangs and swifter returns processes would act as deterrents in and of themselves. Speaking to the media from Rome, where he was meeting migration hardliner Italian PM Giorgia Meloni, Starmer talked up how his government had deported some 3,000 foreign criminals and unsuccessful asylum seekers since the general election. But critics have said that processing asylum claims more quickly may even encourage even more prospective migrants to travel to the UK from countries like Afghanistan, Iran or Syria, knowing they will have their asylum applications processed more swiftly and cannot be sent back home for their own safety. Indeed, in the 2.5 months since the election, more than 10,000 people have arrived on Britain's shores on small boats. But when questioned on an apparent lack of deterrent on Monday, the Prime Minister said, "Our deterrent operates on a number of levels. Firstly is breaking the gangs in the first place, because if you can take the gang down, the model doesn't work. People can't make the journey, and nobody is going to spend money on a journey which isn't going to come to fruition because the gangs have been taken down. The second part is processing claims and removing people very quickly, which is why I was keen to point out the numbers of people we've removed since we've been in office, 3,000 or so, the single biggest flight. Starmer has come under fire for axing the Rwanda deterrent, not least from former Border Force Chief Tony Smith, who warned there was still a pull factor in place bringing people from countries like Afghanistan, Iran and Syria to the UK. He said, "I think it was a mistake to abolish the Rwanda plan because it was designed to fix the problem we had with those difficult nationalities. Most of them would qualify for asylum anyway, but even if they don't, it's really, really hard to remove them to their source countries." But most scathing in his criticism was former Home Secretary James Cleverly, a long-time proponent of the Rwanda scheme. He said, "The need for a deterrent to stop the people smugglers is obvious. We know it, the NCA know it, and now we hear Labour's new border commander knows it. It is becoming increasingly clear that Labour's cancellation of our plan with no replacement won't cut it. Tough talk, but doing less isn't a plan, it's smoke and mirrors, and they are being found out." So the man he appointed to oversee this has turned on him spectacularly and said that there needs to be a deterrent. It's funny how things work. Nigel Farage has warned that Britain is a two-tier country, and it will soon come back to bite, Sir Keir Starmer, as concerns grow over the decisions of the Labour government. The Reform UK leader spoke at length in an interview about the state of Britain under Starmer, following criticisms of a two-tier system being used in policing and the judiciary. Hitting out at the UK's justice system, Farage said that under Labour, Britons are receiving larger prison sentences for posting on Facebook compared to serious offences. Farage explained, "Policing is very, very different. It's two-tier justice. People who say beastly things on Facebook might get 2 or 3 years in prison, but others who commit really very serious offences get non-custodial sentences. The guy that threw cement at me, non-custodial. So what does it say? Just go and do it. He got an £85 fine. You get a bigger fine for not paying the charges across the Dartford Bridge than he got. So it's two-tier all the way through. Warning Starmer of the consequences of such decisions, Farage told the PM that it will come back to bite him if the country continues in a two-tier manner. Farage said, "This is going to bite two-tier Keir, you watch. This is going to bite, and I think that in the end, the sense of fair play and what is fair dealing is going to come through. I sense that Westminster, this Parliament, is probably the least representative we've ever had. Remarkable that the odd outcomes that the first-past-the-post system can bring you. But I honestly don't think this Parliament even understands where the debate is going in this country." When questioned by Stephen on whether he believes Britain is rising to a level of anti-white hatred, Farage admitted he is deeply concerned that the country will become a deeply divided society. Farage explained, "I'm concerned about a society where they keep telling us the crime figures are improving. That's because people just don't bother to report crime anymore. People feel far less safe going out and about. I've spoken to a number of women who live in London who just want to leave, who just genuinely don't feel safe on the tube at night. All you have to do is open your eyes to see that we are living through societal decline." Turning the discussion to more examples of anti-white hatred in Britain, Farage revealed that in the RAF and police force, white candidates for employment were discriminated against in order to fulfill DEI, diversity, equity and inclusion targets. Farage fumed, "I think some of the institutions are systemically racist against white people, and the Royal Air Force perhaps is the best example of the lot. Surely you've got to pick people who are physically and technically the best people to be in the Royal Air Force. I think it is absolutely appalling what they've done." The problem is we're living in a two-tier country, with two-tier attitudes towards employment and two-tier attitudes towards policing. We had Black Lives Matter, police officers taking money, dancing in the streets. You get a rough crowd at a football game, and the policing is very, very different. Lastly, the chance of Prince Harry reuniting with Prince William and Princess Kate has been dashed ahead of his imminent return to the UK. The Duke of Sussex will return to his homeland to attend the Well Child Awards, a charity which he has been patron for over 15 years. However, Harry is expected to not visit Kate and William during his visit, as the rift between the Sussexes and the royal family shows no sign of dissipating. Speaking in an interview, former BBC royal correspondent Michael Cole claimed that any reconciliation between Harry and William would be an extremely slow thaw, and chances of a meeting next week are between slim and none. Cole explained, "I think the two chances of that reconciliation are slim, and none, to be honest with you. If it's a thaw, it's an extremely slow thaw. I think the chances of him meeting again with the Prince and Princess of Wales are, I would say, virtually non-existent." What are your thoughts on what we discussed in today's video? Let me know down in the comment section below. If you've not yet already, make sure you do drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel for more British content. Thank you. Take care. Goodbye.